Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ignore the Noise, episode 4. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about busting business myths. I'm going to be offering you some reassurance if you are that individual that would really like to start a business, but you're holding back because some of the old school ways of thinking, some of the myths that are still lingering about when actually 90% of them are now not true. They might have been true in the 80s and the 90s, but certainly now there's huge opportunity for you to go and start that new business that might change your life. So stick around, because I'm going to get rid of a lot of that nonsense, and actually let's have a look at the reality in today's day and age and all the opportunity that we have. Now, the unfortunate truth is there are still many aspiring entrepreneurs and new business owners that haven't yet revealed themselves and taken the world by storm, purely because you're still holding on to those old school thoughts and myths that having a business is renting an office, a warehouse space, that you need a lot of startup capital, that you need employees, equipment, that you need to have a huge budget for that marketing and advertisement in order to launch your business. And I promise you that is not true. You don't need to have a formal education to run a business. You don't need lots of startup capital. You don't need to borrow from the bank, and you certainly don't need to hire office or employees from day one. It's a lot more simple than what you think. The truth is, to start a business as a millennial, Gen Z in the 21st century, all you need is drive, an idea, and the will to take action. You can start from home, minimal overheads. I'm going to give you a live example. A while ago on my Instagram stories, I showed the transition of me creating a small office out of my cubby hole, literally built like a desk, sat in there with a really small sort of chair. It was really uncomfortable. Started from there, went to kind of a bigger home office on a table, and then eventually built this foundation at the bottom of the garden, built this cabin office, minimal overhead. So it is possible. You just need to work with what you've got. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? Social media. Let's just make this transition and flip it on its head. Don't call it social media. So whatever platform you're planning on using, or where you believe that your customers are, don't call it social media, call it your business page. So if you can't afford to open up a Wix, a Squarespace, or whatever domain that you're going to use social media. It's a free resource. And believe me, 99% of all new customers for any business now are on social media. They're looking for validation. So if you're starting a business, how many times have you looked for a business and you go to their original website, or you go into TripAdvisor? We don't really do it anymore, or even Google reviews. We don't really follow that old school method, that myth. We look for validation through social media presence. How many followers? Are they active? Because what that does to us, the consumer, is it says they're out there, innovative, they're changing, they're adapting to ways of working. I can see the clients that they're working with. So we look for that reassurance on social media. So change that thought process. It's not social media, it's not about vanity, it's about your business page. What are you offering to your potential customer? What is your business model? And I will say this, if you are not on social media, then I've said it before, you might as well be under a rock, because we need to know who you are and what you do. Of course, this ties in nicely with there's no startup capital. So if you have a product, you have a business, or you want to offer value to begin with, get yourself on a platform, start talking about what you want to do and who you are, and start positioning yourself as the individual who is the expert in your industry. All of this is for free, okay? Your customers, can't say this enough, your customers are on social media looking for you if you're gonna offer a product or a service. And if you want to offer your service, of course you can use sites such as, Fiverr.com or People Per Hour, and offer your services on there, and then obviously you charge for your work, and it starts from level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and the higher you go up on levels, you can charge more of a premium for your work, because obviously you're better at what you do. People Per Hour is exactly the same. The other thing as well is you can copy other businesses, okay? And what I mean by that is, if there is a business that you want to start, or you've just launched a new project, look for another company that is doing something very similar to you. Now, I'm not saying piggyback off another company, but what I am saying is look for what's working. If it's working well, copy that blueprint and then just change things slightly. So offer a better service, find a gap that's fat and bloated and that you can really niche into, and then sort of overtake that company. So copy what's working, but of course make it your own. Don't piggyback on someone else's success, and that should work. I mean, 9 times out of 10, any new businesses, they'll be looking at their competitors. And there's something I want to touch on as well is, what's the difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner? Anyone can be a business owner. The hard part is running the business. That's what makes a business owner successful. It's not launching the business, although that can be tricky. It's actually running the business successfully and scaling it over a period of time. What's an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is someone who creates, who is looking for new opportunity and then develops that into a business model that perhaps isn't out there. Okay, so we've got to define who we are and what we're looking to do. You don't need the next big idea. So when we think of starting a business, you might think, I need to make sure it's the next $1 million or $1 billion idea, and I need to scale and provide a service to the entire world. That's not the case. We're not looking for that next $1 million idea. What we are looking for is an idea that works, and that we can start almost without any startup capital, so we can get running. We don't need to have these big bank loans. We want an idea that we can start using social media, these freelance platforms, and that we can grow over a sustained period of time. If it ends up being the $1 million idea and you end up generating that huge profit, happy days. But we've got to look at this in segments, attack business step by step. So I'm saying don't look for that next $1 million idea. That is very much a business myth that you need to have the next big thing in order to even get into business. That's not the case. Just create a really good product and a really good service for your customers. So let's just summarize. You don't need an office to begin with. You don't need loads of overheads. You don't need employees day one. These are things that come organically over time. I hope this has helped squash and bust a lot of these business myths, because look, we are in a day and age where there is so much opportunity purely from your phone. I mean, look, start up a TikTok and get monetized. Start a YouTube and get monetized. These are all business models. They're not social media platforms in my eyes. I look at them as a business opportunity. And of course, if you succeed and you do very well, what happens from these platforms? Sponsorships, public speaking, and so much more comes from it. So remember, get started, take action, and don't go looking for that next $1 million idea. Slow and steady always wins the race. And this was Ignore the Noise, episode 4. I'll see you all very soon.